弥陀佛，世界各地
Amitabha.
的莲花童子们，大家早上好，
Good
午安，晚上
morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all disciples, TBS disciples all over the world. So I am DA May. I am from Malaysia, Sabah.
马来西亚时间
So it is now 7:54 p.m. in Malaysia and Taiwan. And it is Friday, March 24th. So in Seattle, it is 4 a.m. and in Brazil, it is I think 5 a.m. and in Indonesia it is almost 7 p.m. So as usual today we are streaming in 3 languages. So you may choose either English, Chinese, or Indonesian. So today's lesson is on chapter 2, a detailed exposition of the complete Tantric sadhanas. And today we'll be talking on the true Buddha Great Homage Prostration practice. We will start class proper at 8 o'clock. DA Mayer is just saying hi to all the TBS disciples online. So we have many Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, our facilitators online with us.
So
many TBS disciples with us today. Dharma brother Lao Zong, Dharma sister Zhao Ming, Betty, Dharma sister Betty,
法师吉祥，金兰师姐好，素芳师姐吉祥。
Good evening, Reverends.
辅导员国南助教好，还有这个师兄你好，然后仁济助教吉祥，明轩师姐好，思文助教好，淑芳师姐好，然后龙城助教好，印尼的印宁师兄吉祥，于飞讲师吉祥，还有这个曾金顺助教你好，谢谢大家，欢迎所有的莲花童子们参加今天的课程。
So welcome all TBS disciples join the class today. So please remember to turn on your camera and also rename yourself to your Dharma name so that we can get to know all of us. So we can all get to know each other. So when we see you, we will know how to address you. So please turn on the camera if you can. So have you completed your punch card activity?
第一次的点评大会，日期是在4月7日，就是过多2个星期，所以还没有写作业的学员们，赶快呀，时间不等你们啦。大家还记得前2个星期是我带领吗？那时候我有问大家，请问你们每天晚上临睡前有回想一下自己当日的过失，然后持诵100字明咒忏悔净化吗？
So
记得吗？那我现在再问大家，有的话请打1，没有的话请打2。大家有每天晚上想一下自己当日的过失，然后持诵。
Previously when DA Mayer was the MC, she asked that she said that we could do a mini reflection, self-reflection before we go to bed every day, and also to chant the 100-syllable mantra to repent for any misgivings that we might have committed that particular day. So just wanted to ask if anyone has consistently been doing that. So if you have been doing that, you can press 1, can type 1 in the chat box. So you can see many of us online have actually done this practice.
谢谢大家，你们真的很棒哎，我要向你们学习。 今天的课程呢，依然是我们的尊
So
贵的
today's class,
上师授课。
we will
课程结束
also
前
have
我们
our
有
Master
几个
Lianyi
分享。
as our lecturer, and after class we will have
准备你
a
们的纸
sharing session. But
慧儿上
so
师
please
授课
prepare your
时
writing
的
materials
用心
so that we can take note of what Master Lianyi has said during the class
然后记录
and
下
pay
来。
attention,
等下在
stay
我们课
focused
后学习
so
心
that we
得
can
和
understand
分
his
享
teachings
环
well.
节，主动举
And
手
then you
说
may
我要分
choose
享。
to share
今天
your
也可
thoughts,
能会
your whatever your
有
takeaways
分
today
享，
during the sharing
恳
session
请
later
大家先做好准
at the
备。
end of the class
可
today.
能幸运儿就是您哦。当然，我们还有事
So
宜
please
解
be prepared in case you are picked from the
以
crowd
后
to
点
do a
会
sharing
上
session.
师为大家解答有关今天课程的问题。
So we'll
请
also have a mini
珍惜难得
Q&A
的机
session
会。
at the end of today's class. We will invite Master
我们
Lianyi to
看
help
到有位
clarify
会
any
长他
doubts.
上
So
上
please
好
treasure
了，
this
我们自
chance.
己想
So we are also seeing Master Lian Ha,
看到
the
我们
education
的
director,
彩虹
just
主
coming
唱
online.
还有
So good
谁？
good
现在
evening,
我
Master
看
Lian
不到
Ha.
灯呢。
Good evening, everyone who
好
has
啊，
just
法师
joined
吉祥。
the Zoom
丽丽助
meeting.
教好，丽丽助教笑得很开心哦，是因为看到我吗？谢谢。是还有谁呢？这个大致上刚才都已经打过招呼了，对吧？好的，谢谢大家。我们的
So thank you everyone for taking the time to join us
现在
today
也
for
快
this
是8
class.
点了。
So it is now 8 o'clock, so we
我
shall
们
start
正好
lesson on
开始我
time.
们正式开
So the
始。
True Buddha Tantric Dharma
首先
class
让
shall
我
start
们一起
officially.
全程
So
合
firstly,
掌
let
鼓掌
us
顶礼
pay
各位
homage
我
to our
们
root
的
lineage
上师
guru,
师
Living
尊
Buddha
莲
Liansheng,
生活佛历
and
代
Master,
传承祖
past
师
lineage gurus
传
of True
人
Buddha
生
school,
法诸
all
佛菩
Buddhas,
萨虔诚
Bodhisattvas,
尊重莲生活
Mahasattvas
佛大力传
of the
承
shrine,
今
of the
日课
shrine.
程顺利
So we
吉
pray for
祥
Grandmaster
圆
to
满
radiate light on us,
请
such that
大
today's
家
class will
手
go
结莲
smoothly
花童
to
子
form
手
the Padma Kumara
持
Mudra
受莲花童子
and
心
recite
经
the Padma
广
Kumara
咒
mantra.
愿持咒 Om
Om Guru Lian City Home. 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 Om Guru Lian City Home.
阿弥陀佛，欢
Amitabha.
迎尊敬的会长
Welcome
莲花
our
总
Honorable
上师
Chairman Master
尊
Cheng
敬
Zhu,
的授课师
our
莲
most
上师
respected
尊敬的
lecturer
社
Master
处
Lian
处
Yi,
长莲和上
Education
师
Director Master
尊
Lian
敬
Ha,
的公关处
our
处
Public
长
Relations Director
兼
Master
上
Lian
师
Jia,
尊敬的莲妃
as
上
well as
师
Master Lian
以
Fei,
及线上尊敬的上师
all
嘉
masters,
宾
senior
老师
reverends,
法师
Dharma
讲
instructors,
师
Dharma
助教
assistants,
及世
and
界各地的
fellow
莲花
disciples
童
from
子
all over
们，
the world.
大家早上好，午
Good
安，
morning, good
晚
afternoon,
上吉
good
祥，
evening, wherever you
欢
are.
迎大家参加今
Welcome
天的课
everyone
程。
to
上
today's
节
class.
莲意上师
So in
为
the
我
previous
们
class,
讲解
Master
了
Lian Yi
如何招起佛
taught us
菩
how
萨。
to invoke
在
Buddhas
上
and
节课中，
Bodhisattvas. And
我们
in
学习
today's
了几
class,
个要点。第一，招起很重
sorry,
要，
so in the previous class, we
如
learned
是
a few
佛法修
points.
法的典
Invocation
型
is
之
extremely
人。
important.
一般做招起念招
So
起
when we are
咒，
doing
会讲
invocation,
嗡
when we will put our
阿
palms
吽
together and recite
三遍。
Hom Soha
二
3 times
最伟大的咒语嗡
and
阿吽
and Hom.
嗡阿吽是三字咒，代表宇宙。嗡就是宇宙，
So
就是佛，
Hom is
吽
extremely
就是宇
important. So
宙的
signifies the
神
universe,
性。
signified the
嗡阿
Buddhas,
吽
while
是
Hom
佛的
signifies
说法，
attainment. So
就是
Hom
阿
means
门。
the Buddhas in the universe
今天我们
achieve
将
attainments.
学习第
So
13课，
Soha
细
is
说
equivalent
内
to
完整
Amen.
体会第3节，真佛大礼
So
拜。
today we will
莲
be
意上
talking
师
about
又
the
将为
class
我
will be
们
on
带
True
来
Buddha
怎样
Great
的
Homage
心
Prostration
盛宴
practice.
呢？
So what has
我
Master
们
Lianyi
现在看到莲意
has
上师上来是吗？
has
会
in
长
store
说
for us today?
我是否还要继续？
So let us stay tuned to find out.
嗨，
So I think for such an important class, it is crucial that we wait for a while. So before we invite Master Lianyi, let us take a look at a video that we have prepared.
好，
好，我们先看一段师尊的视频。
好，
有看到吗？
So this is a video of Grandmaster. So let's just take a look while we wait for Master Lianyi.
心静一修法，德根本智，差别智，一切种智。
感恩师尊的这个加持啊，教诲给美儿主教。
一才
So
讲
it's
是
a video of Grandmaster giving blessing.
可以再放大声一点吗？
我这边是很大声的。好，我再尝试播一次啊。
好的，谢谢。
So I think there was some audio difficulty earlier.
就请联合上师为我
So
们
so before we replay
谢谢
to
联合上师，阿弥陀佛。
sorry, so we'll just invite we'll now invite Master Lian Ha for an explanation of the video. So previously last week, we have actually submitted the names of all those who have completed the punch card activity, and Grandmaster has blessed the list personally. And this name list was sent to Rainbow Temple. And it was also so the name list of those who have participated in who have completed the punch card activity, the name list was personally blessed by Grandmaster and also put into the Homa fire. So this is in hope that we'll all receive blessings from Grandmaster to realize the fruition of Buddhahood. So this is the greatest blessing and from Grandmaster to us.
谢谢上师。
So we'll listen again to what Grandmaster has said. This is for those who have completed the punch card activity. And Grandmaster has given his blessing.
这是诗人在回向。
So Grandmaster is so I think in the video, Grandmaster is blessing that all who have taken part in the punch card activity to attain to have the 3 wisdom attainment.
不是很清楚，但 我们发去这个群组给大家，好不好？
So I think the audio is not very clear. So we will send it again to the different chat groups. So that we can all wait in anticipation because this is extremely precious to all of us.
林医上师到了吗？
我是到了，但是开不到视频，我的视频打不开。
So I think Master Lianyi is online, but he is having some difficulties with his video, his camera.
上线吧，你稍微等一下，我用手机上线。
So he's gonna try again with his mobile. So let us all give him, give Master some time. So in the meantime, so we haven't. So in the meantime, we will invite Master Lianha again to give us some words of encouragement. So he has a few words of encouragement. So everyone's diligence. Firstly, Grandmaster is well aware and Grandmaster is very happy about it. So that's why he has taken he has sincerely personally signed on the name list and he has actually did a blessing during the ceremony. So this is actually extremely rare. So he has also blessed participants with the 3 wisdom attainment. So wisdom is extremely important. So 根本智 which is one of the 3 wisdoms, is the wisdom of voidness, which is what Grandmaster has blessed us with. And the second wisdom is the wisdom of non-discrimination. So this is extremely rare. So the third one, the third wisdom of the 3 wisdom is the wisdom of reality. So let us, because we have received this blessing from Grandmaster, let us not disappoint Grandmaster and continue in our diligence. So this is more than a few words. So yeah, so let us continue in diligently doing our punch card activity.
每个助教分享的在朋友圈的一篇文章，那篇文章呢是讲名字叫乾坤大挪移，但是它里面是讲师尊怎么磨练自己禅定的过程。
So there was an article that is essentially describing how Grandmaster endured through his meditation practice. He endured a lot of hardships.
有一个同门跟我说，他说原来他修禅定。
And one disciple actually confided in Master Lianha.
根气不好，而是因为他悟到了，而是因为他缺少对禅定的磨练。
So
禅定的精进，所以禅定要大家要最终成就，因为所有佛法的核心就是入三摩地。
So the core of all tantric practices is to enter into samadhi, and then to actually to enter to samadhi, one has to actually endure a lot of hardships to go through that through meditation again and again.
他用的这些词都是对我们的巨大的鼓舞。 那么我们
So
好，
等一下子，
哎
请后台帮我那个静音把它打开，后台
你已经
把我的
可以了，
静音
可以了，
啊，
好了，出现了，再一次掌声欢迎。
So let us welcome Master Lianyi with a warm round of applause.
好的，我们的联谊上师已经准
All
备
right,
好了，
Master
那
Lianyi
我们就
is
以热烈的掌声来有请
back
我们
online. So
佛
let
学
us
知
welcome
识
Master
英国的
Lianyi
联谊上师为
with
大家授
a
课。
round of applause and
请
invite
佛
him
联谊
to
上
deliver
师请。
today's class. Master Lianyi, please. All right, firstly, let us pay homage to our root lineage guru, Ling Buddha Lian Sheng, past lineage gurus of True Buddha School, and all Buddha, Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Dharma protectors of the shrine. So, Honorable Chairman, Master Cheng Zhu, Education Director, Master Lian Ha, Public Relations Director, Master Lian Jia, as well as Master Lian Fei, and all Masters, Senior Reverends, Dharma Instructors, Dharma Assistants, and all fellow disciples. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Amidaba. So first, let me just apologize because of this technical difficulty. We do some technical difficulty with my computer, so apologize for that, for holding back everyone's time. So let us enter into lesson proper. A detailed exposition. So chapter 2, a detailed exposition of the complete Tantric sadhanas. And let us do a mini recap of last lesson first. So the three syllables Om are home. So Om signifies the universe, signifies Buddhas, while Home signifies attainment. So what is the significance of Swaha? So Swaha is equivalent to Amen. So this is which is the wish of the heart. Okay, so question 2, what is the purpose of the Vajra hook mudra? So the answer is using this mudra to hook onto the cloud of the deities as an invocation for them to descend. So the third question is, which Bodhisattva represents the sixth Vajradhara? And the answer is Vajrasattva or Jinggang Sato. And the fourth question is, what Buddhas do the 5 main Vajradharas represent? So the answer is they represent the Buddhas of the 5 directions. So let us enter into class proper on the great homage practice. So the great homage prostration practice is one of the 4 preliminaries in Tantrayana. So the 4 preliminaries focuses on the learning of the Tantrayana fundamentals and serve as the cornerstone of all tantric practices. And it is much like the foundation of a house. So in Tibet, all beginners learning Tantrayana are required to practice the 4 preliminaries. So in addition, each preliminary practice has to be completed 100,000 times. It is only after one has completed the 4 preliminaries can they proceed to practice all other tantric practices. Otherwise, there's a risk of demonic obstacles surfacing and practitioners being led astray. So just want to share a story now. So this story is about the 3 steps and 1 prostration towards Mount Wutai by Reverend Xu Yun, which took a duration of 3 years. So why did he want to do this this practice? So which means 3 steps and 1 prostration means taking 1 prostration in every 3 steps. So why did Reverend Xu Yun want to do this? So because of gratitude towards his parents, he decided to commit to this practice 3 steps and 1 prostration towards Mount Wutai to dedicate merits to his parents so that they can be liberated from the suffering arising from rebirth in this samsara. So on his journey, to Mount Wutai, he met with a few obstacles. So one time he felt seriously sick and then he lost consciousness and was unable to move. So as he was losing consciousness, or he was so he could feel an old man helping him keep warm and feeding him with some porridge. So as he was getting taken care of, he was started to regain his strength. And then so he asked the person, which was an old man who was taking care of him. So sorry, the old man who was taking care of him asked him, asked the Reverend, where were you from and where are you going? So Reverend Xu Yun was said that I came from Mount Puto and I'm going towards Mount Wutai for pilgrimage. And then the old man told Reverend Xu Yun to give it up since his health condition was not ideal and it was very difficult. So Reverend Xu Yun replied, however, that he had committed to his vow to repay his parents' gratitude. So no matter how tough the journey is, he will not give up without reaching Mount Wutai. So another time, so Reverend Xu Yun was also, he also met with another difficulty. He was suffering from diarrhea and he almost couldn't make it. And then he met this old man again called the old man who was called Wenji. So the old man told him his name was called Wuji. So the old man told him actually on the mountain a lot of people knew his name. So again, the old man told Reverend Xu Yun to give up on his journey because of his body condition. However, Reverend Xu Yun was still determined to persist on his journey towards the Mount Wutai. So seeing that, the old man Wenji was moved by Reverend Xu Yun's determination, and so he decided to help him along, and he suggested that they move on together. So under Wenji's great care, Reverend Xu Yun was able to reach Mount Wutai. However, upon reaching the mountain, Wenji was nowhere to be seen. So Reverend Xu Yun was looking for Wenji to give him his thanks, but he was not able to find the old man. Later, through the guidance of another old monk, Reverend Xu Yun realized that the old man Wenji is an incarnation of Manjushri Bodhisattva, Wensusri Pusa. So another name of Wensusri Pusa is Miao Jixiang Pusa. So previously, I think we So Grandmaster has also written in his book that when he was traveling to Mount Wutai, he donated a Padma statue which was made of white jade to the abbot of the temple, and it is currently still being worshipped at the Manjushri shrine. So this is the statue. So it looks like Amitabha, but it's actually, if you see the mudra, it is the Padma Kumara mudra. So this statue shown on the screen right now is actually being still worshipped at the Manjushri shrine at Mount Wutai. So yep. So Padma Kumara, yeah. So let us continue with the class. So the great homage prostration practice of True Buddha School is performed as follows. So firstly, there are 4 mudras in the True Buddha Great Homage prostration practice. So the first one is the Buddha Shrine mudra. So this is the first homage, and this is the mudra for paying homage to the root guru and all in the Buddha division. So with our palms joined, with all 10 fingertips touching each other and the palms of the hands slightly apart, much like a Buddha shrine. So I'm sure all of us are familiar with this mudra. So the second mudra is the lotus mudra. which is the second homage, and this mudra is for paying homage to all in the Bodhisattva division or the lotus division. So for this mudra, the thumbs and the pinky fingers of both hands are touching, while the other 3 fingers on each hand are apart. So much like a lotus in bloom. So the third mudra is a Vaja mudra, which is the third homage, and this is a mudra for paying homage to all in the Vaja division. So this mudra, we put 2 hands together and interlock all 10 fingers, much like the intersecting of a Vaja cross. So the fourth mudra is the equanimity mudra, which is the fourth homage, the homage where you will bend at the waist and bow in respect. So with both index fingers touching each other for this mudra, straighten them towards the sky, straighten both index fingers towards the sky. So the thumbs are parallel to the ground and also touching each other. So equanimity mudra represents paying homage to the Buddha division, Bodhisattva division, Vaja division, Dharma protectors division, and Deva division in equanimity. So there are 3 kinds of great homage prostration practice in True Buddha School. So the three different kinds are, the first one is full body great homage prostration. The second one is a great homage prostration. And the third one is a great homage visualization. So the first one, the full body great homage prostration, the one you see on the screen right now, is the Tibetan style. So the entire body is lying flat on the ground. And for this kind of prostration, a prayer mat or a straw mat should be laid on the ground first to prevent injuries. So the 5th instruction for the great homage prostration practice. First, for any great homage practice, prostration practice, first visualize the guru with the 3 jewels in front of you. So visualize paying homage by yourself or visualize your loved ones coming forward to pay homage together. So place the mudra at the brow chakra and visualize white light shining at the brow chakra, and then all the karma due to one's body is purified. So then place the mudra at the throat chakra and visualize red light shining at the throat, and all of the karma due to one's speech is purified. And thereafter, place the mudra at the heart chakra and visualize blue light shining into the heart chakra, and all karma due to one's mind is purified.
很大声啊，可以稍微关掉吗？
I think there's a
感恩你啊，谢谢阿弥陀佛，不好意
a
思。
bit of audio difficulty. Okay, so we'll continue with class. Let's just wait for a while for Masidi and Eats. All right, so when the karma due to one's body, speech, and mind have been purified, return the mudra back to the brow chakra and disperse the mudra upon touching the brow chakra. Then bend at the waist, extend both hands, push forward and rest your entire body on the prayer mat. After prostration, immediately stand back up after contact with the mat, so do not lie on the ground for an extended period of time. And so this is the Tibetan style of the full body great homage prostration. So the Chinese style of paying homage is the great homage prostration. So it does not involve resting your entire body on the ground, but only pressing both palms against the ground with both knees and forehead touching the ground. So the 5 limbs touching the ground refer to one's head, both knees and both palms. So this way of paying homage also uses the 4 types of mudra, but does not involve resting one's entire body on the ground. This is because when one is outdoors or visiting other Buddhist temples, there is no prayer mat or straw mat. So should one perform the full body great homage prostration everywhere, one's palms, forehead, and body may be hurt. So the third type is the great homage visualization, and this is the one that is originated from Living Buddha Lianyi, our grandmaster of True Buddha School. So during group cultivations, the venue may be small and filled with many people. So to have everyone stand and perform the great homage prostration practice, the space will not be able to accommodate everyone. Hence, everyone is seated and will just similarly form the mudras. imprinting the mudras on the brow, throat, and heart chakra. And then upon reaching the heart chakra, immediately visualize oneself prostrating in front of the Buddha with our entire body, and then return the mudra back to the brow chakra to disperse it. So this is the convenient, great homage visualization. So in addition to respecting the Buddha, prostration is also a practice of learning how to let go of oneself. So because everyone's head is extremely precious, knocking our head on the ground means letting go of your ego and learning to be humble. So there's this story that happened during the Qing dynasty. So there was a famous general and he liked to play chess. And he actually had a few opponents. So one day, this general, when he was leading his troops to battle, he passed by a place and saw a board laid out in the chess formation. So the board was laid out by a man. And then above the chessboard with all the pieces, there was a sign that read, "The world's #1 chess player." So this general, his name is Zuo Zongtang. So he saw this sign and then he challenged the old man. So however, the general challenged the old man. However, the old man lost all 3 games. So the general very proudly said, "You have lost all 3 games to me. So this sign that says you are the world's #1 chess player, you should take it down." So after a period of time, this general, Zuo Zongtang, went to war and he came back after winning the war and he passed by the place again. And then he saw that the sign was still there, the sign that said the world's #1 chess player. So he was extremely angry and he asked the old man, "Why is this sign still here?" So the old man replied, "How about having a game of chess with me again, general?" So then in this instance, the general actually lost all 3 games to the old man in a row. And then so the general was puzzled. He asked why. And then to this, the old man replied, "Previously, because you were about to go to battle, in order not to affect your high spirit, I lost the game to you on purpose. But now that you have came back from the war victorious, the situation is different. So I will not show any mercy anymore." So this general finally understood that this old man is really an expert. So he's really a true master. So a real master will always focus and put the overall situation, will always prioritize the overall situation. So a real master is able to let go of his pride and his ego and can adapt to the situation accordingly. Can either adapt to be of high or low status or position, or can adapt to advance or retreat according to the situation. So what is something that we always fight for? So Master Lianyi is saying that we are always fighting to have the last word. We are always fighting to save face. We're always fighting with each other and creating a lot of friction between each other just because we want to have the last word. We want to win. We want to fight to be better than each other. So Master Lianyi is suggesting that perhaps we can take a step back sometimes. So even if it seems that in some situation we may have won an argument or a fight, we will have lost in terms of our maintaining friendly relationships. So this is akin to pointing guns at each other. So who is the ultimate winner? So actually both sides will experience loss. So in terms of for cultivators, it's extremely important for us to know when we can advance and when we should retreat instead. So another story is Another story is on this Minister of Posts and Telecommunications. So the story starts with a Japanese female university student who decided to spend her vacation doing some odd jobs at a hotel. So when she was employed to work at the Tokyo Imperial Hotel, a 5-star hotel, her first job was to wash the toilet. So on the first day of work, she almost vomited when she reached out with her hands to scrub the toilet bowl. So after enduring for a few days, she was really close to quitting. However, at this point of time, her elderly colleague who would wash the toilet with her drank a glass of water from the toilet bowl that he washed. So this elderly colleague drank a glass of water, this water he actually scooped from the toilet bowl that he washed. So the female university student was astonished by his action. So in response, the old colleague cleaner said proudly, "All the toilets I have washed are so sparkling clean after I have washed them. So they are so clean that I can even drink from the water in them." So this move inspired the student greatly and made her understand the so-called made her respect professionalism. So after this incident, whenever she enters the toilet, she does not view it as suffering. So she regards this as a training place for self-improvement. So every time after cleaning the toilet bowl, she always asks herself, "Can I drink a glass of water from this toilet bowl?" So at the end of this story highlights whether are we able to put down our status to do such menial tasks. So this kind of experience is also a kind of enduring through hardships. So this student, at the end of the vacation, when she was about to leave, she actually scooped a glass of water from the toilet and drank it in front of the old cleaner. So after graduating, she went to the Imperial Hotel to work. And after the age of 37, she stepped into politics and became Japan's first female Minister of Posts and Telecommunications. All right, so now we are at the mini quiz segment. So let us get ready to answer some questions on the mini quiz. All right, so let us all take some time to enter into code.
我可以讲问题了吗？
等一下还没有，等大家先看是不是有进入了。
So you can go to www.menti.com and enter the code.
大家都进入了哈，那我们就准备开始咯。
第一题，密教基础大礼拜法需修
So the first question is, as foundation for Tantric practices, how many times should the Great Homage Prostration be performed? A, 10,000 times, B, 50,000 times, and C, 100,000 times. So the answer is C. The second question. There are 3 kinds of Great Homage Prostration practice in Trubada school. Which of the following is not one of them? So which of the following is not one of them? A, full body Great Homage Prostration. B, Great Homage with joint palms. Or C, Great Homage Visualization.
是 B。
So the answer is B. So for the mini quiz part 1, let us look at the ranking. Congratulations to Dharma brother Guan Ting, sorry. So for the Indonesian channel, congratulations to Ethan, Ethan. So it seems like we do not have any on the English channel. So all right, this ends the mini quiz part 1 segment. So we'll continue with class. So the main point of great homage prostration practice. So the key point of the great homage prostration practice lies in visualization. So when the mudra is placed at the brow chakra, all deities radiate white light. And karma due to one's body is purified. When the mudra is placed at the throat chakra, all deities radiate red light, and karma due to one's speech is purified. When the mudra is placed at the heart chakra, all deities radiate blue light, and all karma due to one's mind is purified. So the most important is to then return the mudra to the throat chakra to disperse it, followed immediately by a prostration. So the most important is to eliminate karmic hindrances. All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas radiate light on the practitioner, eliminating karmic hindrances accumulated across many lifetimes. So only in this way can one's cultivation attain purity, one's body radiate light, and one can then have hope of realizing Buddhahood. So this story is about a princess in Tibet. So there was a king in Tibet who had a very beautiful daughter. So many princes and nobles pursued her, and her parents loved her very much. However, one day, when she was 16 years old, she contracted leprosy, a kind of skin disease, where her whole body was covered with sores. And so initially, she was actually a very beautiful princess. And now that So after she has contracted this skin disease, the princes and nobles who have pursued her stayed away from her, and even her parents did not show her that much care and concern. So this actually made her suffer both physically and mentally. So one day she quietly left the palace and hid in a cave on the mountains. So she drank spring water when she was thirsty and ate wild fruits when she was hungry. So in the rest of her time, she did great homage prostration to Avalokitesvara, which is Guanxin Pusa. So she did this for 12 years. So after 12 years, she received the blessing of Guanyin Pusa, Avalokitesvara, and after 12 years, not only did she recover fully, she was even more beautiful than before. So she returned to the palace. So when she returned to the palace, all the princes and nobility pursued her again. However, at this time, she was different from before because she understood the principle of impermanence and non-self in this world. As a result, she was ordained and practiced the teachings of the 1,000 arms and 1,000 eyes Guanyin Pusa to save sentient beings. So the story tells us that her loving kindness has developed from towards oneself to great loving kindness for all sentient beings. So this princess so let us think about what is impermanence. So you don't know at any point of time, you don't know what will happen. So this is impermanence. So for example, the princess, she was actually very beautiful, but in an instant, when she contracted the skin disease, her physical appearance was immediately changed. So this actually is actually an example of impermanence. We will realize that nothing is everlasting. So what is non-self? So there is no real self. Our body is made up of earth, the elements of earth, water, fire, wind. And after after this earth, water, fire, and wind disseminates, what is left of the self? So this story is quite a thought-provoking one. So the great homage prostration practice is an antidote to the 3 poisons. So this is another important point. So the great homage prostration practice can curb one's arrogance, which is one of the key points. Because bowing one's body to pay homage is learning how to be pious and humble. So the meaning is to eliminate the 3 poisons of greed, hatred, and ignorance. So practitioners often experience a sense of pride and complacency due to small achievements. Then their arrogance is unleashed. So when they see that others are above themselves, they then experience jealousy. Hence, those who practice Buddhism need to first pay homage to the Buddha and learn how to be pious and humble. So to bow down and to prostrate is to curb this arrogant mind. So we are often very prone to having ego and arrogance. So there is a story in the biographies of eminent monks. So there's a Zen master called Miao Gao, and he wanted to test his meditation ability. So he sat on the edge of a cliff and meditated. So he was thinking, if I fall asleep during meditation, I will fall off the cliff. So there was really once where he was sitting on the cliff meditating, he suddenly became sleepy and dozed off and he fell off the cliff. So he really thought he was going to die, but suddenly he was rescued by Skanda Bodhisattva or Weituo Bodhisattva. So at this point, when this Zen master was saved by this Bodhisattva, he thought to himself, hey, my practice is not bad. Even the Skanda Bodhisattva came to save me. However, this is actually a arrogant thought that has arisen in him. And Skanda Bodhisattva actually told him that I will no longer protect you anymore because of this arrogance. So Zen Master Miao Gao felt very regretful after hearing this. So he should not have developed such arrogance, and every day he confessed and repented to Weituo Pusa. So one day he was again sitting on the cliff, and suddenly he became sleepy and dozed off, and he fell off the cliff once again. So what does everybody think? Will Weituo Pusa still save this Zen master? So yes, Skanda or Weituo Pusa appeared to save him again. So the Zen master asked the Bodhisattva, why did he save him this time? So the Weituo Bodhisattva actually said, oh, because you have repented, so I came to protect you again. So in our cultivation journey, when we experience many different situations, when we are exposed to different situations, and we may inevitably develop arrogant thoughts. However, we as cultivators, we need to be aware and to curb this arrogance whenever it arises. And the most important thing is for us to be able to help sentient beings. So the reason why Weituo Bodhisattva rescued Zen master is because he has a heart of repentance. So as cultivators, if we know we are in the wrong, we should do our very best to improve ourselves.
Sorry,
I think this Master Lianyi was cut off earlier, so I didn't catch. So, all right, so we will continue on the class. So the great homage prostration practice is also one way to keep fit. So it is a form of exercise which combines body movement and turns into a yoga movement of inhalation and exhalation. So once we do this practice, this exercise to release sweat, it can also cure illnesses, and this is actually a logical explanation. So in ancient times, the Tibetan great homage prostration practice was considered to be the method of prostrating to the Buddha through endurance of physical pain to show one's sincerity, which is also its origin. Some focus their cultivation on the great homage prostration practice, where they prostrate 21 times, 49 times, 108 times, or a few hundred at a time. So this kind of great homage prostration can be performed using the Buddha shrine mudra continuously, treating all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas as Buddha, and paying homage without stopping. So the greater number of prostration, the better. So this is a way to accumulate merit through the great homage practice. So another benefit of the great homage prostration practice is that it eliminates the, demonic hindrances. So the Buddha Dharma is extensive and subtle, but also requires step-by-step progression to attain ultimate supremeness. So when paying homage with both the practitioners' palms supporting against the ground, they push their hands forward and in a way push all the demonic hindrances and afflictions away. So the demons refer to heavenly demons, 5 aggregates demons, desire demons, and death demons. So heavenly demons above the 6th level of desire realms, they do not like sentient beings to be liberated from the 3 worlds. Therefore, they will create all types of hindrances to oppose Buddha and disturb practitioners. So the 5 aggregates demons, it refers to the 5 aggregates of clinging or attachment. And these aggregates take part in the rise of craving and clinging and will lead to the practitioners who face to encounter hindrances related to the 5 aggregates. So the practitioner will be clinging on to form, the 5 aggregates: form, sensations, perceptions, mental activity or formulations, and the 5th one is consciousness. So desire demons is they create problems to disturb the practitioner's mental and physical health and obstructs one's path to enlightenment. And the deaf demons, they obstruct the practitioners to continue cultivating for the entire of their lifespan. So next part, we are coming to the mini quiz part 2. So let us all get ready to participate on Menti. So for the third question, which of the following is incorrect about the great homage prostration practice? A is hands at the heart chakra, B is hands at the throat chakra, and C is hands at the top of the head. So which of the following is incorrect about the great homage prostration practice? So the answer is C. C is the incorrect one. Question 4. Which is a benefit of the great homage prostration practice? A. Eliminate arrogance. B. Eliminate financial debts. C is eliminate unfavorable love affairs. Is A, to eliminate arrogance. So let us check the ranking. So congratulations to Dharma brother Lao Zhong. So for the Indonesian channel, congratulations to Ethan. And for the English channel, congratulations to Lotus Angel. Alright. So this ends the mini quiz part 2. Thank you, DA Wei Xian. So let us continue to the PIF of the great homage prostration practice. So the PIF is to visualize oneself in the void, transforming into infinite bodies and prostrating to the infinite Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Dharma protectors in the void. So to maintain single-mindedness with no other thoughts and to stay focused. So the great homage prostration practice can eliminate karmic hindrances and develop great affinity with Buddhas. The curbing of greed, hatred, and ignorance, as well as arrogance, is possible with respectful prostration. It is the highest form of reverence and is a yoga suitable for the exercise of the body. In addition, with Buddhas and Bodhisattvas radiating light, eliminating karmic hindrances accumulated over many lifetimes, one is ultimately able to attain purity of their body, speech, and mind, and attain the radiance of light from their own body. So prostrating to the void is visualize countless Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the void, and also visualize oneself in the void, visualize countless of oneself and all sentient beings in the 6 realms. While prostrating, one can simultaneously recite the mantra for prostrating to the Buddhas or the supreme homage prostration to the universe verse. So the mantra for prostrating to the Buddha is Namo Manju Siya Ye, Mansu Siya Ye, Namo Uttama Siya Ye Soha. So the prostrating to the void and oneself in the void practice of visualization have great merits. Such a prostration is equivalent to performing 1,000 or countless prostrations to the Buddhas. and it's the supreme pith to the great homage prostration practice. Its merits are simply immeasurable. So to prostrate to the void, visualizing countless Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the void, and visualizing countless of oneself and all sentient beings in the six realms. So apart from the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas radiating light on us during the great homage practice, there's also another aspect. So whether we have eliminated our own arrogance, it's also extremely important in this in the great homage practice. So our own arrogance, our own ego is actually a great hindrance and obstacle to our own cultivation journey. However, if you are able to be humble, you will go far in your cultivation journey. So this is a very important concept. So I'm sure everyone is quite familiar with the poet Su Dongpo. So Su Dongpo was actually a very outstanding student when he was young. So I think Master Lianyi's phone ran out of battery. So just take a moment for him to charge his phone again. Thank you, Master Lianyi, for inserting many mini stories in his classes. Not only that, he also provided a short break for all of us. So let us all take some time to drink a little bit of water. And in no time, Master Lianyi will be back. So no worries. We have so previously, so just earlier, Master Lianyi has shared with us on the pith of through the great homage practice. So actually, I've been doing the great homage prostration practice for so long, but I have only just learned about the mantra for prostrating to the Buddhas, which Master Lianyi just shared earlier. So if you are also new to this, be sure to take note of this mantra.
Namo 36万亿119500同名同号阿弥陀佛。所以我每次做大礼拜呢，都是念这一个咒。现在又多了一个新的，觉得非常的棒啊！马来西亚的爱妮师姐说有念，谢谢你，太厉害了。
So some of us do actually chant this mantra for prostrating to the Buddhas.
是的，我觉得今天的课程真的是收获真的是蛮多的。
So today's class we have a lot of takeaways.
有写到是要等下课程过后才来讲的。
So actually, I have taken down notes to share after the class, but but we may not have enough time. So let me just share what I have learned today right now while we wait for Master Lianyi. So in this class, we learn about the great homage prostration practice. So we learn about the many benefits of the great homage prostration practice. So Master Lianha has also shared a story before. So there was this disciple who had who experienced pain in his or her hips. But after doing the great homage prostration practice, he or she eventually recovered and did not experience any pain anymore. So it's actually very miraculous. So Master Lianyi is back, so we will continue with class. So we left off at the Su Dongpo, so we will continue with the story. So because Su Dongpo was extremely outstanding, he was really very smart and clever. All of his teachers are incapable of teaching him. So before Su Dongpo left, his teacher gave him a calligraphy painting with the writing, "There is no limit to learning." So upon seeing this, Su Dongpo wrote a couplet which says, "When one reads all the books in the world, one will know all the characters in the world." So he hung this couplet in his living room. So there was one day an old monk came to visit Su Dongpo, and he saw the couplet, and he asked Su Dongpo, "Why did you write this couplet?" And then Su Dongpo replied, "Because I read so many books, there's no word that I don't know." So upon hearing this, the old monk took a Buddhist sutra and passed it to Su Dongpo. So after seeing the sutra, Su Dongpo realized that there are actually many characters that he didn't know of yet. So then he recalled the meaning of the calligraphy painting that the teacher gave him, in which the calligraphy painting said that there was no limit in learning. So he remembered this. So Su Dongpo wanted to throw away his own couplet after this, but the old monk told him to add a few words, to not throw it away, and to add on a few words. To just add on a few words to the couplets. So after adding a few words to the couplet, the message on the couplet reads, "Work hard to read all the books in the world and be determined to know all the characters in the world." So after adding a few words, the entire meaning completely changed. So before the old monk left, he gave Su Dongpo 3 pieces of advice. The first piece of advice is one must be content with one's life. And the second, one must know one's insufficiency in one's work. And third is one must be unsatisfied in one's study. So the first one must be content with one's life. So we often say this. So there was once during New Year, there was a Dharma brother who got an auspicious fortune bamboo stick. So the Dharma brother who got this auspicious fortune bamboo stick actually found it weird because when even at the age of 60, he has still not gotten any wealth of any sorts. And then so Master Lianyi asked him a few questions back. The first question is he asked him, "How is your health?" And then the Dharma brother replied, "I do not have cholesterol or high blood pressure." And then Master Lianyi asked him another question. "So how does your children treat you?" So the Dharma brother replied, "Oh, they are considered filial. They give me money every month." And then Master Lianyi said, "You have actually obtained a very priceless treasure. Good health and filial piety cannot be bought with money." So this is the meaning of the auspicious fortune bamboo stick that he has drawn. So the first one is one must be content with one's life. And then the second is one must know one's insufficiency or inadequacy in one's work. So we must be aware of what we have not done properly. So there are many aspects in which we have not done ideally. So I'm sure all of us have heard of Confucius. So he's often involved in education. So there was once Confucius passed by, was on a journey, and he saw many children along the road taking, I think, rocks and soil to build a small small like mountains along the road. So all the other children were playing with the rocks and the soil along the side of the road, but there was a 7-year-old child who was there alone and not playing with the rest of the children. So the single child was sitting in the middle of the road. So okay, sorry. So this child was building a sandcastle in the middle of the road, and then Confucius asked why he was building it in the middle of the road when cars was going to pass by. So the child actually told Confucius to go around him instead of passing through his sandcastle and destroying his sandcastle. So Confucius thought that this child was would be very smart, so he decided to test him. So he asked the 7-year-old child, what mountain has no rocks? So the child replied, a dirt hill. And then his second question to the child was, which tree has no leaves? What kind of tree has no leaves? And then the child replied, a dead tree. And then what kind of fire, the last question Confucius asked was, what kind of fire has no smoke? And the child replied, oh, a firefly. So actually this is an instance where Confucius learned from a 7-year-old child. So the third piece of advice is one must be unsatisfied with one's studies. So the British philosopher Bacon said that there were 3 ways of learning: the ant style, the spider style, and the bee style. So what is the ant style? So the ant style is I think it's the most common type. Is ant style learning is like similar to ants who only know how to keep collecting food and hoarding food without being flexible and not knowing how to make use of the food. It's just so the style. Similarly, these people who have the ant style learning only know how to collect information and hoard them, and do not know how to apply these information. So the next style of learning, the spider style of learning, is where where one draws boundary by oneself and builds up one's own knowledge, using one's own perspective to judge people and things. So the last type of learning is the bee style learning. It is like bees flying to further places to collect food, transforming the collected food into creation and brewing it into honey. So this is what we should practice when we are learning the Buddha Dharma. So we absorb the strengths of other people and we adapt it into our own lifestyle, and to make use of it in our own lifestyle to our benefit. So we should use the bee style learning method. So So it is good to absorb information, absorb knowledge, but we should also know how to transform this knowledge that we have taken into something that can help us, that can aid us, turn it into wisdom and integrate it in our lives. So the brief summary, the great homage prostration practice is a respectful prostration to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So this practice can curb our arrogance, strengthen our resolve to practice the path, eliminate our karmic hindrances, disperse demonic obstacles, cut off delusions and afflictions. So the great homage prostration practice is also a means for keeping fit and practicing mindfulness. It is also a form of repentance and can lead to liberation and enlightenment. So it's such a simple practice, but there are so many benefits embedded within. So I believe we should practice the great homage prostration practice every day as a form of exercise, as a way to eliminate our arrogance, to build our resolve to practice the path, and to eliminate our karmic hindrances. There are many benefits. There's also, we can also use it to practice mindfulness, as well as practice it as a form of repentance. So lastly, I have one last story to share with all of you all before I end this class proper. So there was a painter, an artist. So many people asked this artist, this painter, for help, and he actually patiently helped those who asked him for help. And then his students said, teacher, you are so famous. You don't need to work so hard. You don't need to spend so much time teaching those who ask you for help. So upon hearing this, the teacher told his students, you know, when I was young, when I was learning to draw, and I visited a very painter. He was a very famous painter. However, once I reached the house of the famous painter, he didn't even look me, he didn't even glance at me. So he didn't even spare me a single glance. So I felt very sad at that time. So before I left this place, I told him, so you are looking at me from a high mountain right now, and you feel that I am very small. However, do you know that when I look at you from the bottom of the mountain, you are also very small to me. So this artist decided to because of this experience, he patiently helped those who asked him for help. So this story, what I want to express is, we are all like mirrors. A person is like a mirror. How you see other people is equivalent to how they will see you. So we should smile more often. We should treat others with kindness more often, and form favorable affinities with people. So it is how we treat others, we will get the same treatment in return. So this story also reminds us to be humble, to respect. And also reminds us that if we respect other people, they will also respect us. So this ends today's class, and I would like to apologize again for holding back the time because of some difficulties in the middle of the class. Thank you, everyone. Amidaba. Thank you, Master Lianyi, for his exciting and thought-provoking class. We have many takeaways. So I think there's some comment. There's a comment from the YouTube audience that they have enjoyed the stories. So today we have learned that the great homage prostration practice is a way to eliminate our arrogance and also to keep fit. So Master Lianha, so previously I shared Master Lianyi did share a story about a TBS disciple who was experiencing pain in his or her hips. However, once they started to do the Great Homage Prostration practice, all of the pain in their hips disappeared. So there have been many instances where disciples who have practiced the Great Homage Prostration practice recovered from pain in the hips as well as So there's also a Dharma sister whose father who is very diligent in doing the Great Homage Prostration practice. So if you do the Great Homage practice every day, you can key in 6 in the meeting in the chat. Otherwise, you can enter 7. So we see a lot of people who have entered 6 in the chat. Thank you, everyone. All right.
因为时间来不及，没有谢谢联合上师。现在再一次的谢谢。
So we thank both Master Lianyi and Master Lianyi for today. So next is our sharing session. Does anybody want to share? So does anybody want to share their experience after practicing the Great Homage Prostration practice? So there have been some comments who in the chat also. So Amidaba, Master Lianyi. Initially, so this is from a disciple. So initially, when I learned that the Great Homage Prostration practice could eliminate one's arrogance. So not only do I visualize that the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are above oneself, but also the sentient beings of all the 6 realms. So even after completing 100,000 times of the Great Homage Prostration practice, I still continue to do it every day for 21 times. So thank you, Dharma brother, for his sharing. So from these stories that we have heard, if you are experiencing hip pain, do practice the Great Homage Prostration practice. So we see also Reverend Lianyi, who wishes to share with us. Amidaba, everyone. Let's first pay homage to Living Buddha Liansheng. Grandmaster. Good evening, everyone. I would just like to share a very important point. This is something I've experienced myself. So I am staying at the I think Taiwan Lei Jiangshi on level 2. So there is a duty roster for the reverends to do cleaning and cooking. So reverends is also saying that they go and collect alms. At level 3 of the Taiwan Lei Jiangshi, I think there are a few masters and Ayushmats also staying there. So they also take turns to do cleaning of the toilet. So this is extremely touching. So even as Ayushmat, as elders, as masters, they also carry out what they have to do to clean the toilets. So this is the first part of my sharing. The second part is on something which Master Lianyi has shared earlier on the three. Sorry, the 3 ways of learning that that Master Lianyi shared just now.
感恩教授师的心得分享，真的是太棒了。接下来
So
我
we
们
thank Reverend for his sharing.
莲亭法师
Can we invite Reverend Lian
打开
Ting
说下你的心得感想吗？
for his sharing?
家庭的庭的莲亭法师，法师在吗？请问尊贵的莲亭法师在吗？那没有关系，法师，如果你在的话，你先准备一下好吗？那接下来我们请老钟师兄，你准备好今天的冠军？
So let us invite Brother Lao Zong, who was today's champion for the mini quiz, to do his sharing. So I have. So when one's arrogance arises, we need to constantly remind ourselves what right do you have to be arrogant? So you have only cultivated a little. Look at others who have cultivated for longer than you. To curb, in a way, to curb one arrogance. So this is what I have to share today, Amidava.
好的，谢谢老周师兄。那还没有请莲亭法师之前呢，请大家也可以把今天你对这个
So, if you have any questions, you can leave it in the chat box, and we will invite Master Lianyi to clear any doubts and queries.
你准备好了吗？因为我没有看到你。
他有开麦了，但是好像听不到。
哦，是吗？
您再讲，莲亭法师，您再讲一下，尝试一下。
I think I'll be inviting Reverend Lian Ting, but I think there is some audio difficulties on his end, so we can't really hear him right now.
那个麦没有插好。
对，可能是没有。
Maybe he has not connected his mic properly.
那就请莲亭法师下个星期为我们做这个。
So invite Reverend Lian Ting to share next week instead. So let us give an applause for encouragement.
有一个同门，不是同门，莲追教授师问，请问莲意上师平等。
So there is a question from Senior Reverend Lian Zui.
向左，向右，回中，来转。
When doing the
这是否多此一举？莲意上师。
So when we are doing the equanimity mudra, some disciples actually rotate their body left and right. So is this something extra? Is this required? So Master Lianyi's answer is the typical practice is to just face forward and face forward. So but however, if they want to rotate their bodies, it's also okay. the typical practice is to return the mudra to the brow chakra and to disperse the mudra. So there's another question. I think for the senior disciples, if they are unable to do the the full body great homage practice, can they do the great homage practice with visualization? So yes, Master Lianyi's answer is yes, they can do the great homage visualization, as it is also something that was taught by Grandmaster. So due to the time, it is now 9:29. So since we do not have any more questions, we will end class today. So we'll see we'll see everyone again next week on lesson 4 on the mandala offering practice. So let us invite Master Lianyi to say bye to all of us. So let us put our palms together to thank our Lord Lineage Guru, Living Buddha Lian Sheng, and all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, and Dharma protectors. So thank you to Chairman Master Cheng Zhu, Education Director Master Lian Ha, PR Director Master Lian Jia, Master Lian Fei, as well as all Masters, Senior Reverends, Dharma Instructors, Dharma Assistants, and all fellow disciples for attending today's class. Apologize again for today. Thank you, Master Lianyi. Thank you, Master Lian Ha. Thank you, all masters, and thank you, everyone. Thank you to our interpreters today. For the English interpretation, that's me, and for the Indonesian interpreter, there is thank you to Feng Li Zhujiao. So to all,
bye bye.
All right, so thank you everyone. See everyone next week.
还有谢谢主持人李儿助教。
谢谢上师。
The hosts today as well as all interpreters.
李儿助教。
感恩，谢谢上师。
谢谢谢谢联合上师，真的感谢你的帮忙。
上师讲的非常好，太好了。
感恩
谢谢大家。
我要修理我的电脑。
现在已经开始期待下一节课了。
阿弥陀佛。对不起，
联合上师。
谢谢大家，
谢谢大
家，谢谢危险助教，谢谢乐贤助教，谢谢自由师兄，谢谢老钟师兄，谢谢少明师姐，谢谢建新师姐，谢谢仁济助教，谢谢彩虹师姐、彩虹助教季师兄，谢谢国徽讲师，谢谢莲亭法师，谢谢一才讲师，谢谢伟华讲师，谢谢莲珍师姐，谢谢金福师兄，谢谢荔枝助教，谢谢芝龙助教，谢谢阿底师姐，谢谢连追教授师的心得分享，感恩。每次连追教授师都会出来帮我，太棒了，有您真好。谢谢国南助教，谢谢谢谢莲端法师，谢谢桂义师姐，谢谢桂祥助教。好的，在此跟大家再一次说一声晚安，拜拜。